What up, Poppin' T fam? It's your host, Poppin' T. As usual, Poppin' T. Got a cup with me today, no mug. Pop, what's the tea for today, man?
So it was a big weekend. NFL draft is behind us, but our boy Curtis Jacobs has signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. Me and TJ played high school with him, very close friend of ours. Curtis played linebacker at Penn State and will now be playing for the two-time Super Bowl champs. You got to be excited for him. I know he's excited. I know he's ready to work hard, so gotta love it.
Yeah, gotta love seeing him go to Kansas City. Obviously, I wish it was Baltimore, but like you said, back-to-back Super Bowl champ. So he's going to a great organization, and hopefully he can go in there and get some play time, off rip.
And kind of a similar player to a linebacker that they had before in Willie Gay, so maybe he can work his way into that role.
Yeah, very versatile, so I believe in him.
Love to see it. Well, speaking of the draft, we got a special episode for you today, an episode I'm very excited to do. I love the draft. I love draft season, and this weekend was no disappointment. Ravens killed the draft, and it was overall a great draft with a lot of really good players going to really great fits. So we're going to talk about this first round of the draft and kind of give a grade for every pick, give a little bit of analysis, and tell you what we thought about this first round.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. Pop, number one, the Chicago Bears. What grade do you give them?
Got to give it an A. Caleb Williams out of USC. I mean, he was the best quarterback. We knew he was going to go number one overall for a year now, and I really think that Caleb has the potential to bring them to the playoffs year one. I'm going to put my money on that.
I like that bet. And I like the grade also. I'm also going to give it an A. Are we giving out A pluses? Are we doing that today?
Yeah. I think I got 3.
All right, so I'll change my mind. I'll give that an A plus. I think that was the undisputed number one overall quarterback. I think Caleb was going to be very good in the league, especially with the double dip at wide receiver this free agency with Odunze at 9. I believe Caleb has all the tools around him, and he'll be a home run pick for sure.
No doubt. So on to the Commanders, pick 2, Jayden Daniels. Jayden's a stud. I gave this pick a B, though. I had Jayden as my number 2 quarterback. I really didn't like the way that he kind of handled pressure throughout his college experience. I thought Drake May was a step above Jayden as my QB2. So I went and gave this pick a B, but I like the Commanders bringing in a QB. And one with so much upside.
So I give it an A, just because there is so much upside with their pick there. I believe he showed a lot of poise in the pocket this last season at LSU. I just feel like he got better all throughout his college career. 40-4 touchdown interception ratio. Can't ask for too much more. And you saw he had 2 wide receivers go first round. So that shows you that there was a true connection over there. And I think he's the possible answer for Washington, with Terry at wide receiver.
I would love to see it over in the DMV. Pick 3, Drake May goes to the Patriots. I gave this pick a A-. I love that they got my QB2 at pick 3 after the Commanders took Jayden. I think he's got great upside. He's got a slingshot of an arm, prototypical size. But I have been trade down and collect assets this whole draft process for the Patriots, as I just think that putting a QB in here is just setting them up for failure. But to get my QB2 at pick 3, you can't hate it, and I think he's going to be a franchise quarterback for them.
I gave this pick a B. May, after his second year, he just didn't get too much better. He kind of, ascended and then just didn't really improve. I thought Daniels improved, which is the difference between those two grades there. He does possess the prototypical size, like you said earlier.
Looks great in shorts.
I would say he kind of looks like Herbo out there. So if he has that ceiling of Herbo, he'll definitely shut me up and make this an A grade.
No doubt. I mean, you got to remember, he kind of lost his weapons going into that senior season. So
That is true. That is true.
on to pick 4. This is one of my few A pluses of the first round. Marvin Harrison teams up with Kyler Murray in Arizona. How can you not love it? Marvin is the best wide receiver prospect we've seen in years. This dude has the route running. He's got the deep threat potential. The only thing he really lacks is some elite yak ability, but I mean, that's something that might get coached into him in the league. I just think this is a blue chip prospect, and to team him up with Kyler, I think it puts Kyler right back in that MVP conversation.
Yeah, another A plus. Best wide receiver we've seen in years come out of college. There's no question about it. There's no debate. There's really not much to talk about when watching his film. We know what he can do, and I expect him to do it year one. Possible offensive rookie of the year in Arizona.
Pick 5. Joe Alt goes to the Chargers. Such a Jim Harbaugh pick. I love this pick. Joe Alt is an animal, a mountain of a human being. Him paired up with Rashawn Slater, that is going to be nasty. I didn't give it an A plus though, because they still have a really big hole at wide receiver. They did eventually address that in the second round with Lad McConkey, but I still got to give this pick an A. I think they have a franchise tackle duo for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I give it a B plus because of that reason you listed. Well, Malik Neighbors sitting there, Rome Odunze is kind of questionable head scratch, especially when you already have your left tackle of the future over there. So obviously this gives you the other side, and it's going to be an all-pro pick. We know that. But it's just a very glaring need at wide receiver. Still is after taking McConkey, in my opinion. So yeah, that's why I give it a. I think I said B plus. But yeah.
So we're on to pick 6. Malik Neighbors goes to the New York Football Giants. Love this pick. Give it an A. I love giving Daniel Jones his first, honestly, real playmaker at the wide receiver position in his career in New York. I think I would have given this pick an A plus. I really think that Malik is going to succeed most as a slot guy, and they've already got a lot of slot receivers on that team with guys like Wandale. So I think this pick would have been an A plus for me, but I have it right at an A. I think Malik can play the outside. Obviously, he did a little bit of both at LSU, so I love the pick.
I give this pick a B plus. I love the Neighbors pick in itself. It's more kind of just what if, what happens down the line. If it turns out that J.J. McCarthy, turns out to be a franchise-saving quarterback and they decide to stick with Daniel Jones, this might hurt down the road. But if my Neighbors is that guy, which I believe he is, this pick will rise, but I don't think Daniel Jones will step up to the occasion.
Yeah, I mean, we will see. He's finally getting that wide receiver talent. But on to pick 7, we got J.C. Latham going to the Tennessee Titans. I did not like this pick at all. I think I had J.C. as my tackle 5 in this class. And to take him at pick 7 with guys like Fuaga, Fashanu, Fatanu still on the board. I thought it was a major reach. I think he looks slow in his pass sets. I do like that he's going with the best offensive line coach in the league there in Tennessee, but I just thought it was a reach, and I thought they could have had better tackles there.
I actually give this pick an A. I actually love Latham on film. I love him in the running game. He's a dude. He's a mauler. He's kind of slow, in pass protection sometimes, but that'll get coached on. But yeah, I think he was the second most ready to go behind Joe Alt. So I love this pick for Tennessee.
I don't know if I said, but I gave that pick a C plus.
Ooh, that's a big difference.
Yeah, major difference. Might be our widest difference in this video,
Probably.
but we will see. On to pick 8, the shock of the night. It was all anyone could talk about after this pick happened and for the rest of the weekend. The Atlanta Falcons select Michael Penix at pick 8. Crazy pick. I gave this a C minus. A lot of people wanted to just give this an F right away, but it sucks because you signed Kirk to this major deal, and it looks like you're going for win now, and then you want to address that pick with a defensive player, but then you go and draft a quarterback. I think it's just future-proofing. You don't know how high they had Michael Penix on their board, and you don't know if Kirk's going to work in Atlanta. He's coming off a big injury. It's a new scheme, new coach, new situation. You never know what's going to happen. And if they really liked Michael Penix that much, you can't hate them for taking the most valuable position in the sport.
Yeah, I could just pick a C grade. It's really just because you said like that contract, 100 million guaranteed, 180 total. Michael Penix is also on the older side. I believe he's 24, 25. So he's likely going to have to sit for a couple years. He's going to get into his contract. He's already going to be older. It's just a lot of what ifs. You know, you don't know how healthy Kirk is going to be, how good he's going to be. So like you said, they were in that win now mentality, and they go do this. It's a big shocker to everybody. And a first round quarterback doesn't sit for too long, so it's like, what's going to happen with that Cousins money? Is it going to be another Russell Wilson in Denver situation? They're going to eat a bunch of dead cap and end up shooting themselves in the foot. So, just didn't seem like the entire organization was on the same page with this pick and the Cousins deal. A little questionable.
Definitely. On to pick, what are we at, 9?
Yeah.
The Bears select Rome Odunze. I mean, how can you not love this? Pairing together Caleb Williams with another elite weapon, adding to that already stacked receiver core. I gave this pick an A. Rome Odunze is going to be a solid wide receiver 3, and then eventually fill that hole that Keenan will leave once he inevitably is on a different team or retired. So I think it's just crazy value at pick 9, and I think that he's going to be a Bear for a long time.
This is another A+ pick for me. Just love to see them add more weapons, like you said. Odunze, Allen, Moore, Swift, Kmet. Caleb got it all, man. They're heavily invested in him. I'm very excited to see this offense. It's a new era. Man, I wish Justin Fields could have seen this era, but Caleb is going to do great things with this, man. I'm very excited.
I'm excited to watch the Bears. I don't know if I ever said that.
I haven't either, but I am.
So at pick 10, the Jets traded up a pick. Or, no, the Vikings traded up one pick with the Jets to select their guy, J.J. McCarthy, national champ out of Michigan. I really like the pick. I think that J.J.'s been their guy for a while. He's got the traits, he's got the athleticism, he zips the ball over the middle of the field, which is a huge part of that Kevin O'Connell offense. So I gave this pick a B+. I also like that they didn't trade both of their first-round picks for this player. So overall, I think it was a solid pick. The only reason why I don't have this in the A range is just because limited sample size of what he did in college.
Yeah, I won't say the same thing over again. Same grades, same reasoning. Just get on to the next pick.
Jets take my tackle 2 at pick 11. Olu Fashanu, Penn State man. I love this pick. Probably the best pass blocker in this entire draft. And I think that considering that you have 2 older tackles, 2 injury-prone tackles, making sure that you're keeping Aaron Rodgers upright is the most important thing you can do, and with Olu, you're getting that. So I gave this pick an A.
I gave this pick a B- just because.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I gave this pick a B- because he won't play this year. They didn't bring him into play, which to me is like when you bring in a first rounder, that's what you bring him in to do. I think Tyron and Morgan will be the starters this year, and he'll play down the road, which is why it isn't a C, like the Penix grade is. Like he'll probably start next year, but just for this year, I have to give this pick a B minus.
Got you. Well, Tyron's not playing the whole season, so he's gonna get in
Yeah,
there.
he'll get some
Just won't
bump.
be enough. Yeah. On to pick 12. Who was at pick 12?
The Broncos.
Oh, oh yeah, Bo Nix to the Broncos. I gave this pick a B minus. I think they had to get a quarterback in here. I just it felt like they just scrambled for Bo Nix because all the other quarterbacks were gone and they didn't have a pick till the third round, which made me want to give a lower grade. But I like Bo Nix as a prospect. I think he's gonna fit into what Sean Payton likes to do really well. He works really well within a structured offense, and I think that Sean is gonna provide that. I don't like the fact that they took the last quarterback here.
I give them a B minus for this pick. Like you said, it's a little bit of a reach, but like it was between Bo Nix and Spencer Rattler. Like you said, they didn't pick into the third round. Um, they need a quarterback. The guy on the depth chart right now is Zach Wilson. That's obviously not the answer. So they did what they had to do. There was no other option for Denver here at 12.
For sure. On to the Raiders, Brock Bowers. This is probably my favorite player in the entire draft. Love Brock Bowers. I gave this pick a B though because the Raiders felt like one of the only teams that couldn't afford to take a tight end in the first round. Obviously, you'd love to put more weapons around some lesser QBs, I'll say. But, I mean, you could have addressed the offensive line here. You could have addressed your shoddy defense here. So, I don't know. I had it at a B.
I give it a B plus just because it's Brock Bowers. Like you said, they didn't really need a tight end. A lot of other needs, but their main need was quarterback, and there were no more quarterbacks on the board. So going best player available, I can never hate it. I'm excited to see him and Mayer on the field together next year.
At pick 14, the Saints drafted Tolise Fuaga to fill one of those tackle spots. I don't know who it's going to be because we're not sure if Ryan Ramczyk is going to be playing football anymore. But I really like the pick. I got it at an A minus. I think that Troy Fautanu is a little bit better of a tackle prospect, in my opinion. But Fuaga's got that size. He's a mauler in the run game, sufficient enough in the pass game. And Derek Carr is a quarterback that needs protection. We know this. So I got it at an A minus, addressing a big position of need.
Yeah, I gave this grade a very similar grade at an A. He's just, like you said, he's a mauler. And I believe he does very well getting to that second level. And the Saints love to get Alvin Kamara the ball any way possible, so he's definitely going to add to that. Like you said, Ramczyk's career is in doubt. It's leaning towards he might be done. So he'll probably be him and Penning next year. But this a very big position of need for them, and they answered it with a very nice talent there in Fuaga.
So at pick 15, the Colts get my second A plus of the video. They draft Leatu Latu, the first defender off the board. I love this pick. I think Leatu Latu was the best defensive player in this draft. They got him at a steal when you thought that the first defensive player was going to go probably to the Falcons. They've kind of not had much of an edge rush presence the last couple of years. Kwity Paye was a little bit of a miss. And to have a dude that's so ready to go, got the full pass rush tool belt, great athlete, not an exceptional athlete, but a great athlete, and to get him here at 15, I think it's a perfect pick.
I give this pick a B plus. Um, I'm very high on Latu as a pass rusher. I really do believe in him. I expect him to go a little lower. I expect him around that 20 range. The B plus is really just based on the injury risk. Player wise, I believe he's an A player, but just gotta wonder if he'll stay on the field, for his career with so much injury history through college.
On to pick 16. The Seattle Seahawks took Byron Murphy. I gave this pick an A. I think Byron Murphy was the best defensive tackle in this class. I think I had him above Dallas Turner as well. This dude is a stud pass rusher, and he's great in the run game too, even for a slightly smaller defensive tackle.
Yep.
I mean, he was taking the nose tackle spot from Devondre Sweat, who's 360 pounds. So that just goes to show you how good of a run stopper this dude is. The only reason why I don't have this pick as an A plus is because they're still really lacking at the edge spot, and they have interior guys like Leonard Williams. So I thought edge was a little bit bigger of a need, but you can't hate taking defense, and given Mike McDonald a stud defensive tackle to work with, we've seen how well that goes.
Yeah, same great pop. Same analysis, really. I love the analysis you gave. I think it'd be special to see how many sacks he gets this year. I kind of expect him to lead defensive rookie in sacks just because of how Mike McDonald runs his blitz, his schemes. If you go back and watch the Ravens film from last year, it's a lot of linebackers picking the center of the guard and getting the tackles freeze. That's why you see Matabika get so many sacks. So I expect him to take that same scheme and to run it in Seattle. And Byron is down there at the 1 and the 3. I expect him to be the guy getting the sack because of the presence he can create himself interior. And then, you throw in a linebacker running 100 miles an hour and chipping a guy for you. He's definitely going to eat in that scheme next year.
I'd love to see it. So the Vikings traded up with the Jacksonville Jaguars to pick 17 to take Dallas Turner. Feels very reminiscent of what the Texans did last year with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. I like the pick a lot. I gave this pick an A-. You're finally giving Brian Flores some good defensive talent to work with. The reason why I gave this an A- is just because you traded a lot of assets to go get this player. I think I would have had it at an A or an A+ if you didn't give up the assets that you gave up, if you could have just taken him at 23. But I doubt he would have been there. But I expect this dude to be a stud. If not next year, then very soon.
Poppy, I'm thinking you're stealing my thoughts. You read my note something. Because I'm on the exact same page here with you. The grade A-. I love it. It is very reminiscent. I saw like a tweet of C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson and then McCarthy and Turner, and I was like, man, what if this happens again? But yeah, they just gave up a lot to go get him. He wouldn't have been there at 23. We know that. But I definitely think based on talent that was there at 23, they could have filled other needs and been fine. But yeah, A- grade. I like Turner. I like his film. I'm curious what he does in the league because he's a little lighter. So we'll see what happens.
So at 18, the Bengals got one of my favorite players in this draft, Amarius Mims. I gave this pick an A-. I think that so much about this pick makes sense. He fits in with their running scheme, that gap running scheme. They know what they like in tackles. They've got Trent Brown and Orlando Brown there. He clearly fits the bill with those other two massive humans. The only reason why I gave it an A- is because, one, sample size, he didn't play that much in college, and two, he's probably not going to play much this first year, but I think you could be looking at an all-pro tackle down the road.
I give it a B-, mostly because of the fact that, once again, he won't play this year. I expect both the Browns to be the starting tackles. And unless somebody gets hurt, I don't really see him getting in there. I don't see them putting him at guard, honestly. But he's a mover in the run game, and I really love how he can move at 6'7", 340. Some injury concerns, but hopefully he'll be all right in the league. And I don't know about all pro talent, but I definitely think this is a Pro Bowl tackle.
On to 19. The Rams took Jared Verse. I really like this pick. I think they did a great job of drafting in the first round for the first time since 2016. I got this pick at a B plus. I like Jared Verse. I never loved Jared Verse. I think that he is going to come in and maybe be their best defensive lineman right away. I just don't think he possesses that great bend that you're looking for from an edge rusher, but his bull rush is serious. And for him to come in there and push the pocket, really let some of the other guys work, I think it's a great pick. I gave it a B plus.
Yeah, I give this grade an A minus. To get a guy, I believe that could have went in the top 12 at 19. I love the value there. A little bit of production drop from 2022 to 2023. Like you said, doesn't have that great bend. But he's very strong in the pass game, like you said, that bull rush, and he's strong in the run game as well. I expect him to be a quiet contributor over there in Los Angeles this year.
On to pick 20. This is my last A plus of the video, and unfortunately it goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They drafted Troy Fautanu out of Washington. I think it works for the scheme. Arthur Smith runs that wide zone rushing scheme, and I think that's where Troy Fautanu is going to work best because he's a little bit of a smaller dude, and he's going to be able to showcase that athleticism with some of those wide zone blocks. I think he is probably the second best pass protector in this class, and the Steelers are once again building that offensive line that's kind of been a hallmark of their organization for a while. They lost it the last couple years, but with some of the picks in this draft, they're building it up again.
Yeah, I give this pick an A. Love Fautanu. Like you said, they're rebuilding that offensive line. Has been god awful the last couple of years. And this is a guy that'll help that. I think he has a chance of playing interior, only at 6'3". But I think he's a guy that could survive at both guard and tackle. Might even be able to rotate him every drive if you wanted to. I think he has that potential, possibly being that good. So I love this pick for Pittsburgh.
On to 21 with the Dolphins. They selected Chop Robinson. This was a confusing pick for me, so I kind of just took the easy route and gave it a B. Chop is an exceptional athlete. I think he ran in the 4.4s as an edge rusher this year. I didn't love the pick because they already have some edge rushers, and Chop is not going to be a 3-down pass rusher for them, even when those guys are still down with injury, just because he's not great against the run. But I like the upside with Chop, with the athlete that he is, and I like the fact that with Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb being hurt to start next season, you needed someone to come and hold that defensive line together, and I think Chop is going to do a great job of doing that while those guys are out. But it felt like a little bit of a reach to me, so that's why I have it at a B.
I give it a B plus. I like Chop. I'm a PSU fan as well, so I might be a little biased. But I just love the way he attacks the quarterback. He's very ferocious, very fast. In his pass pro, I think the ceiling is very high, closer to Parsons than I would say Odafe. But they do, like you said, already have two cornerstones there at the end. So maybe they move on from Chubb in a couple of years. We'll see.
On to pick 22. The Eagles drafted Quinyon Mitchell. Great pick. I had him as CB1 in this class. Exceptional athlete. Played a lot of off zone at Toledo, but showcased that he has the chops for man coverage too at the Senior Bowl. It was a huge need for the Eagles after their corners started to regress last season, and for them to just stick and pick my CB1, gotta give it an A.
Yeah, I give this pick an A+ for a guy that I didn't think would be there at 22. I love this for them, especially the Eagles need cornerbacks desperately, and they showed you that by taking Mitchell and Cooper later on in the second round. He ran a 4.33, 6 foot 195, can play press man, off man, zone, whatever. Love the pick for the Eagles.
At pick 23, the Jacksonville Jaguars took Brian Thomas. I gave this pick a B plus. I love adding new QB or new weapons to have for your quarterback. I love the thought of Brian Thomas and Gabe Davis on the outside and Christian Kirk in the middle. I just think it's a little bit redundant with what Gabe Davis does. They're both bigger body, deep threats. So I would have preferred more of a route runner, but I'm still gonna give it a B plus. Love weapons.
I give this pick an A. I believe he's the best wide receiver from the board, and especially when you factor in that they were able to trade down 6 picks, get a pick this year and two more in 2025. I love that, especially you got Ridley. I mean, not Ridley. Ridley had just departed in free agency. You fill that hole immediately. And then you have Thomas, Etienne, and Lawrence all on rookie deals. So I love that for Jacksonville.
At 24, the Detroit Lions traded up for Terrion Arnold. Love this pick. Gave it an A minus. He was my CB3. Very aggressive. Sticks in that hip pocket. Sticky in route coverage. Only reason why it's not an A is because they had to trade up for him. Give up some assets.
Yeah, I'm with you. Same reason really. B plus. They released Cameron Sutton, so they needed a corner, and they went to go get it. But I think they could have held it down and got Kool-Aid McKinstry later on, and even Nick Wiggins if they didn't move, which is why it isn't an A from me.
At 25, the Green Bay Packers took Jordan Morgan. This is going to be one of my lower grades of the video. I gave it a B minus. I just thought it was a reach. They did address it at position of need, which is why it's not in the C range. I just thought Jordan Morgan was a little bit of a reach here.
Yeah, I give it a B as well, just because it was a little reach. Then they could have went BPA and possibly gotten Rosengarten in the second. I believe Tyler Guyton was still on the board, so they probably could have got him later on as well. But with Bakhtiari gone, we'll see what Morgan can do year one.
Now, who was at 26?
Pick 26.
Why am I blanking here?
Oh, the Bucks.
Oh, yeah, Graham Barton.
Yeah.
Love this pick. I gave this a minus. I love his position versatility. Think he's an outstanding athlete. Can't hate the pick, honestly.
Same
Really
as you. I really wanted him in Baltimore, but was taking 4 picks before. That guard center tackle versatility. Gotta love it. I think he ran like a 4.78 at his 40, so hell of an athlete.
At pick 27, the Cardinals selected Darius Robinson. A little bit of a tweener, D-tackle edge hybrid. I gave this a C+. I just thought it was a reach here, but he's got the theoretical upside. I think he fits in their scheme very well. I just thought he was a second-round player, which is why I gave it a C+. I think they could have used this pick better on maybe corner or wide receiver. Double dip.
I gave it a B. Really want to give it a B+, just because he is versatile, and the Cardinals really need an edge rusher. So that inside-outside versatility, I like that a lot for them.
On to pick 28. The Chiefs traded up with the Bills to select Xavier Worthy. I gave this pick a B+. I love adding speed to this offense. I think there's a little bit of redundancy with Hollywood. And and I don't think that Xavier Worthy is an outstanding route runner yet, and he doesn't play super physical. Obviously, when you're that fast, you're not going to have the size. I didn't think this was a slam dunk pick like a lot of people thought it was, but it definitely is scary.
I give it an A plus. I'm one of those people that think it was a slam dunk. Um, yeah, when you can add a 4-2-1 guy on an offense with Pat Mahomes, and you already have Marquise on the other side, and you have Rasheed Rice, you have Tyreek. I mean, not Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Man, the sky is the limit. You don't have to be a great route runner when you're playing with Pat Mahomes. Just get open, stack your guy, and keep running. Pat will get you the ball. Um, this was any other team with any other quarterback, I wouldn't feel this way about it. But when playing with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they've shown you they can get guys the ball. Just gotta hold on to it. So if he can hold on to the ball, which he did at Texas, I think this would be a home run pick for sure.
Maybe I just put a B plus to convince myself it's not as bad as it is.
It is.
But
Sorry.
on to 29, another really low grade for me. The Cowboys selected Tyler Guyton. I don't like the fact that they traded down and missed out on Graham Barton. I never liked Tyler Guyton throughout this process. I think he's very inconsistent. I know you had a needed left tackle, but Tyler Guyton was not the player that I thought you should have addressed that with. And I was so happy when they took him because it meant that we weren't going to take him with the next pick. I gave that a C if I didn't say that.
See, I actually give it a B. I'm okay about Guyton. I just like his versatility to play left and right. Addressed the need, and they were able to move down and get him. So it was like when you can get some value and still get the guy you wanted, because obviously this is the guy that you wanted. So can't hate the pick.
So with pick 30, our Baltimore Ravens selected Nate Wiggins. I love this pick. I gave it an A. I think that I had Nate as my CB3. I love that they took best player available here at a position of need. I love pairing up Marlon Humphrey and Nate Wiggins together. I think Nate has arguable potential to be a better cover player than Marlo down the line just because of his athleticism, and it's just securing that position for the future. I love it.
I give this pick a B plus. It filled a need, but I really wanted a wide receiver here, to be honest. I felt like that was that or tackle, but I don't think the tackle prospects were necessarily good enough to take at 30, which is why I wasn't mad at corner. But I think Nate is just a little lean, which kind of worries me a little bit. I know he put on 8 pounds since the combine to the pro day, but that 173 is kind of questionable. But after seeing the Chiefs take Worthy at 28, us taking a corner that runs a 4.28 at 30, can't knock it. And I expect him to be guarding Worthy when we see them again in the AFC Championship game.
No doubt. On to 31. The 49ers selected Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. I gave this pick a B+. You don't know what's going to happen with Ayuk or Debo. I loved Ricky Pearsall. I think he catches everything that's thrown at him. He tested out the gym at the combine. The only thing he really struggled with was press coverage, and Mike or Kyle Shanahan is going to be able to scheme him out of press with short motion, all the stuff that he likes to do. So I think he's going to fit in super well in this offense. I just think there were some corners on the board that I would have preferred for the 49ers. So that's why I don't have it in the A range, but it kind of tells you what they're thinking about Ayuk and Debo if they're taking a receiver with their first round pick.
Yeah, I give this grade a B minus. I think just being a little greedy, to be honest. You have Kittle, you have Ayuk, you have Debo, but like you said, that shows you that situation over there isn't going as well as we might think it is. Purcell is a good wide receiver. I didn't necessarily have him mocked first round, but like you said, he catches everything. He's a nice route runner, and he shined at the Senior Bowl. So I think it'll be a good pick down the road, but just in the moment with what they already have, it's a little questionable.
With the 32nd pick, the Super Bowl champion. Oh wait, no, they traded down.
So yeah, they traded.
My bad. My bad.
Carolina Panthers.
The Carolina Panthers traded up for Xavier Legette. I love this pick. I gave it an A-. Xavier Legette has the size, the speed to be an alpha in this league. Maybe doesn't possess the route running yet, but I think that can be worked into it. He's not a bad route runner by any means, just not one of the elite guys yet. I think that you already have that route runner in Deontay Johnson as your flanker. Adam Thielen is still a very good route runner for his age. So to get a true deep threat with size and speed for Bryce Young to finally start throwing that deep ball again, can't hate it. Gotta get weapons for Bryce. A- for me.
I'd give this a B plus. To be honest, I didn't really know too much about Legette. Then I watched his film and I was just kind of like, God, like this
He's a
kid,
beast.
this
He's a
like it was
beast.
just ridiculous. Looked like AJ Brown out there, man. Just looked like a DK Metcalf. You know, when they were at Ole Miss, like he looked like a man out there. I wonder if Adani would have been a better pick. I was a big Adani fan.
Me too.
Um,
Me too.
so,
I thought he
you know-
for sure should have been a first round pick.
Yeah, we'll see as time goes on if Legette was the correct pick. But like for the time being, like you said, go get him a deep ball threat. Go get him a bully. I believe that's what Legette is. And I love that for Bryce.
So that's going to conclude our first round. Really enjoyed making this video today, making this episode. We're going to have a lot more draft content coming out soon. There's just so much to talk about with all these crazy draft picks. Let us know what you guys think of these grades, what you would change if any of them were not anywhere close to what you were thinking, but we want to hear your insight on it. So let us know.
Yeah, let us know. I believe actually, Pop. Let me hear from you. Steal of the draft.
In this first round or in general?
Yeah, let's just go first round.
Probably Fautanu to the Steelers.
I think I really do like that. I think I'm gonna go Worthy at 28 to the Chiefs.
Wow. Dude, don't say that. God, stop saying that, bro.
Yeah, I think come 3 years we are going to be regretting that. Like it's going to be if Pat Mahomes has won his 5th NFL Super Bowl. Like that's
You
what we're
gotta
going to be
stop.
hearing.
You gotta stop.
Taylor Swift is going to be dropping her 4th, 6th album, whatever album she's on. Worthy is going to be Tyreek Hill 2.0. Like,
Why are you speaking this into existence?
'cause let's be real.
I don't need
bro.
this in my life right now.
Let's be real. Let's face the facts.
I'm just crossing my fingers for John Ross, honestly.
I hope. I really do, but I don't think with this one.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, let us know what you think about these grades, and we'll get some more content coming to you soon.
See y'all soon, man.